Welcome back to Talk With Tay podcast. We're back with another special episode today. I have a very special guest, someone who's a phenomenal woman, inspiration to a whole generation. I'm not going to give y'all too much. I'll let her get into her story, but I do want to say I'm sitting here with the first female college football player, Toni Harris. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm okay. Today was a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
Work is always rough, but, I'm alive, and that's the biggest blessing we can ask for. So,
Absolutely. I just want to take this time to, say thank you for, giving me your time and coming onto the show. I definitely appreciate it. I've been following your story for forever, if I'm being honest. Like, I knew who you were, before college. Just being in the city, I knew the journey that you were on. So I just want to say respect. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I really fuck with it. It's really it take a lot. It take a lot to do what you've done, and I feel like it's history. And like a long time from now, like we're gonna be talking about you. So
I hope to leave a legacy. I mean, the work is still not done. Everything that I'm doing, as far as like from when I started my journey in football to now, like. It's always been bigger than me, always will be bigger than me. So, I mean, when things still get slow a little bit, the journey never stops. So, there's more to come, actually. So, I can't wait to see where that takes me.
Absolutely. Are you still kind of living in the moment type of thing, or when does it really hit you, like, about what you've been able to do? Do you think that far ahead, or is it just you still, like you say, the work is still being done?
Yeah, like I don't see it like that, because the work is absolutely still being done. There's so much more I want to do, so many things I want to accomplish. And so I just take it one step at a time. Obviously, I celebrate the little wins, because I've accomplished everything but nothing. That's what me and my friends always say. Like, I've done so much big stuff, but not enough little stuff.
Right.
And I think that's because I'm so career driven and so focused on like the goals that I want to accomplish. So no, it hasn't really hit me yet, just because I feel like it'll probably hit me when there's like a bigger moment that's a little bit more surreal. Like it gotta be, I don't know. I don't think it'll ever hit me, because I think for it to hit me, I'd have to feel bigger than who I am. And my mom has always like told me, like, regardless of what status you have, like, you're just the same as the next person. Like, y'all walk the same ground, you bleed the same blood. So it'll never change me. So I don't think it'll probably ever hit me. Just, the cause might get a little bigger, but it probably won't ever hit me of how big history could be or the moment that I'm in right now.
Okay. Yeah. I like that perspective. So I want to take this time, to get into, I want you to introduce yourself to my platform and the audience, because I want people to actually know who you are. Like, who is Toni Harris?
Yeah. So, if we're asking about titles, I'm the first female to be awarded a college football scholarship as a non-specialist in college football history, four-sport athlete, two-time Hall of Famer. And I also play football in the WNFC. Last season my LCO was toured, but the season before I played for the LA Legends, and this year I'll be playing for the Chicago Winds. So I'm excited to kind of get closer to home and bring back some of that game.
Okay. I want you to touch on your upbringing. I feel like like the world, right? We see you from afar, and it's a lot of different perspectives. And you talk about, your story and how you were raised and how you got into football. But I want to have a better understanding of who you are for real. Like, what was that upbringing like for you? Like, tell us a little bit about how you came up.
Well, that's a long story, but I guess I can give you guys a short version. So obviously, I'm sure the whole world knows I'm adopted, right? And that's a couple times. So the upbringing, I'm not going to say that I've had the best, but not the worst, because I know obviously there's people who had worse, upbringings than I did. And obviously, I still had a relationship with my mom. I met my dad when I got older, actually, got the best relationship ever. But I still was put in a predicament where, although a lot of times I had to fend for myself, I was still in situations where sports saved my life. I wasn't just a football player either. I played soccer, cheerleading, track, and football. So I was never at home. There would be times where you couldn't afford like this. I was one of those kids that, for sure. And especially going to Detroit public schools, I was one of those kids that was bringing home a packet every day, getting cussed out. We can't pay for this. You keep bringing stuff home, all of that. So what I would do is, when I was younger, I started working in a shop when I was 11, and I would make my money like that. Like at first I started off as a shampoo girl, then I started off, starting to braid, and then my auntie started teaching me, as I go or whatever. And in the summertime, I would take me and my sister, and I would just go around to like people's yards and stuff. Like if we ever did fundraisers and stuff, I'd flip, I'd jump, I'd dance, like, to raise the money for everything. So I always had like a hustle mentality, and to tell myself, like, I always wanted to break the generational curses of, getting out of the neighborhood that I grew in, because I grew up on Joe Road of Van Buren. So obviously everybody, I'm a little trench mud baby or whatever, but I just feel like, regardless of the circumstances that you grow up in, that's not the path you have to follow. And so obviously I'm still breaking generational curses, but like I said, it's always one step at a time, one day at a time. And I'm just grateful for, all the opportunities that God provided me with, and also giving me the experiences that I had when I was younger to show me how to survive, because if I never had those experiences, I probably wouldn't be where I am today to take everything that I do from the world. So
Right. Okay, so obviously born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. And when I've been following your story, I didn't know that you were adopted multiple times.
Yeah.
I always knew that you were in a foster care system, but what was that like for you? When you say multiple times, do you remember the occurrences, or like was it kind of you just remember being in different places?
Yeah, you obviously remember the occurrences of the people that you were with. But the last one is, the last adoption I had was October 6, 2011. And I was adopted by my mom's godparents. So my mom's godparents, Joanne and Darnell, my God rest granny soul or whatever. But my mom's god sister is the one who was my guardian. So that was the last adoption. But yeah, you obviously remember it. Some of them not the best, I'm not gonna lie. But I always had God by my side. So, that's been the most strict and best thing I've had in my life to carry me through all those experiences.
Is there a lot of trauma that you've been able to realize as an adult that you look back on and, it kind of comes full circle?
That's a really good question, honestly. I think when we talk about trauma, I think there can be some triggers that you go through depending on what situations you face in your adult life.
Right.
Obviously, one of those triggers for me can be boundaries. As a child, and being a middle child, always being a different child. Also, I was very different as a kid, so I kind of stood out, sometimes not in the best ways. And I've always been a sensitive kid, so I was always considered like kind of the opposite of a black sheep, but a black sheep. And I was always like, because I was trying to show people who I could be, I was always a people pleaser. And obviously that stuck with me, being an adult. And so it kind of messes with me sometimes, because it's like, now I got to set these boundaries with people, not just family, but friends, media, like anybody I work with. You can't be so nice now, because people take that niceness to an advantage. And that has definitely got the best of me a couple times. And it's a trigger for me sometimes, because obviously I know how I grew up. So anytime I see somebody like in a situation or something that I've, went through, it's like I want to help always. Like I used to go to therapy, and my therapist always said that it's called having a hero complex. Like you just always got to be the one to save the day. And that comes from all the childhood trauma that I had, always never being able to be saved. So now you want to save and heal everybody else. So I'm trying to work on my hero complex. It's hard, but I think it takes time. Like you can't tell people how to heal. Like it literally, and you don't know that you have some of those traumas either until you like get those triggers. Obviously, it's probably more stuff that triggers me, but I can't think of it off the dome. But I know that's for sure the first thing. Okay,
so when you talk about identifying those triggers, do you think it just comes with time, or do you think it takes an experience, like something like a death, to happen for you to really internalize everything?
I think it depends on the person, honestly, because some people push those emotions down. Some people feel them and use that to, better themselves. But honestly, I just think that it depends on the situation for me. It could be any situation. And sometimes I may feel them because I can, regulate it. Sometimes I don't, because I didn't recognize that that's what I was feeling. Like, I probably think like another thing is a trigger for me is like loving people more than I should, because obviously I probably lacked a lot of that as a kid. And I wasn't probably able to admit that like a couple years ago, but obviously I've been, I came home and I realized so much moving back home and being away.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I try to love people through everything, and that's not a good thing either. Like sometimes you just have to love them from afar, or just let it go and let God take control of the situation, because you can't love people into loving you back. And so that's a trigger for me too. Like as soon as I feel like somebody's not reciprocating the love that I'm giving, it's like I always want to push harder to show them that they can love me, and obviously that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was actually in the car. I was trying to figure out how I felt about a certain situation. Me and my best friend was talking.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain it to her, but I literally just explained it. So that's what it is. I'm like trying to, you're trying to love people in the way you want it to be reciprocated, but everybody's not going to do that. So I think that's a trigger too.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that.
But we learning.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
So how many siblings do you have?
Ooh, I have so many siblings. I have 15 total.
15 total.
9 biologically, and the rest are from my adopted family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the youngest child of 9.
9
biologically, and it's probably like 13 total, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to know, how did you get into football? Because how many brothers? What's the the ratio from brother male and female?
So there's 15, 7 brothers.
7 brothers.
No, that's a lie. 6 brothers.
It's hard to remember sometimes.
It's so many girls. I got 6 brothers, but none of them play football.
None of them play.
None of them play sports for real. Like 2 of my brothers, one is a musician, like he can sing really, really well. That runs in our family, obviously, because I sing. And then my youngest brother, he sings, but he's so smart. He just graduated from like Yale and stuff.
Okay.
And then on my mom's side, my brother on my mom's side, like he doesn't play. He's athletic, but he doesn't play sports or anything.
Okay.
And then my other 2 brothers, he ran track, but he didn't like do football or anything. And then the other one played basketball. So like none of them like play football.
Yeah, okay.
Now, my sisters are athletic, but again, none of them play football either. So it's the first in my family. I got it actually watching my cousin Demetrius play football. That's how I learned.
Yeah. Okay. So what intrigued you about football, like the sport itself? Like what was it for you watching your cousin Meech play?
Well, obviously I'm a very competitive person, and I've always been the person to prove to people, like anytime you tell me no, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna show you I can do this shit, right? Excuse my French, but
no, you good.
It's like I've always been a person to prove that I can do anything I put my mind to, and I have. So that is like a really big thing for me. And I used to watch my uncle, because he used to coach my cousin and them from the Steelers, and I used to watch them all the time, and I was like, well, if they can go out there and do that, so can I. And I was always being challenged. And then I seen it was like such a big family environment. You got the banquets and the team travel and the hotels, and I was like, I wanted to be a part of something like that. And so I watched him and I got inspired, and then I started playing from there. Like I started taking notes, and I mean, it's been me ever since. So I was young.
You play PAL?
Play for the West Side Cubs, but I got kicked off the team.
You got kicked off the Cubs for what?
Yeah, for being a girl.
For being a girl.
Okay. I got kicked off the team for being a girl. Then I went into cheerleading, but I was still playing football or whatever. Yeah. And I was going to play for the Detroit Dragons, but then their team got abolished for whatever reasons or whatever. And then I went back to cheerleading. Obviously, I was doing AAU track too for Motor City. And then cheer kind of took over a little bit, but I was still playing football. And then I played all the way football, cheer, track, and football all the way up to high school. When I got to high school and it came to decide like what I was going to do, I had scholarships for cheer, track, and I didn't have any coming out of high school for football, but I did have them for cheer and track. And instead, I decided to take the route of football. Crazy, right? It's crazy, but
not to me. I mean, just saying that's
look how everything turned out. As long as you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of people that was like obviously telling me it wasn't a good idea or like that's not the best option for me, but I learned like growing up, like nobody's gonna believe in me, so I just gotta sometimes be on that lonely road, because obviously God gave me the vision that it's not for everybody else to understand. So I kind of followed through with it, and it worked out for my good. So I have no regrets for the path that I took. Okay,
yeah, no, I respect that. So let's talk about from the time when you started with the Cubs and you coming up and you eventually get to high school, referee in your high school, right? So what was that challenge like, just being that girl who literally trying to play football and it's not the most ideal thing? Because I grew up seeing, I seen girls playing football. I had
Yeah.
a couple girls that I played with that was on my team, and they was cold. But I feel like
you still don't get the opportunities. that you want.
get pushed away. I feel like you get pushed away, even you feel me, even if the skill set is there. So what was that like for you? You know,
So,
from there.
Crazy thought, I got kicked off my high school team too, but I wasn't going down without a fight this time. I was like, I don't know who y'all think y'all messing with, but and after all this time I've been playing, and then we come to my senior year, we done went through hell practices and fall camp, all of that, and then we going into the season. And you think I did all of this work for you to kick me off right before the first game in 2 weeks? Oh no! So when I got kicked off or whatever. At the time, my head coach had called me after we had like a Thursday practice or something. Yeah. And he had told me basically that I wasn't going to be able to play football no more, but he didn't give me the reason. So he was like, I'm going to have to talk to our assistant principal, and he was our athletic director at the time, Mr. Humans or whatever. God rest his soul. And he had told me, at that time, I was not trying to hear nothing he was talking about. I was screaming, crying. I was like, I done put all this work in and then getting better over all these years, and like obviously like they playing in my face. Right. So at the moment that I thought about that, I was ready to transfer to the rival school, Thurston. But obviously that wasn't going to be, ideal because Thurston was just at the time when I was going, they was good. They not good now because, Ref Union dominates now. But I wasn't going to get no opportunity there. So what I did was I was like, okay, I just got to figure out a way to take matters into my own hands. And so I called the superintendent's office. And I told them exactly, what was going on, what happened. And by that Tuesday, they called me back. I had a meeting with Mr. Humans. He called me and my guardian mom into his office, and they made me sign a waiver basically saying that if I get back on the team and I got hurt, like the school wouldn't be responsible. Ain't that some crazy shit?
That's crazy. I had that thought like just randomly years ago.
Yeah, they made me come in the office and they made me sign this paper that said basically if I had got hurt, referee union wasn't going to be liable or whatever. And I signed it, obviously. Yeah. And then I was back on the team that Tuesday. I was back in practice that afternoon at 4:00. But it was a crazy experience because in high school, like obviously the maturity level for men is not the same as it is when you get older. So I was constantly taking stuff every single day. And even in college, like I had to prove myself, but I think I had to prove myself a little bit more in high school because, guys are not used to seeing females playing out there. Their maturity level is not where it should be. And so it was probably the hardest that I've had since like before college. Yeah. That was probably the hardest. College was a breeze if you're talking about respect. But high school, baby, they gave me some problems. I was ready to fight every day, but I was like, listen, you got to come out here and you got to be 10 times as mentally strong and 20 times as technical because that's what's going to get you on the field. But a lot of people don't understand like being a female football player, all the shit you got to take. And then it was like, it wasn't just like physically demanding and like draining, but it was so mentally and emotionally draining. Yeah. Like your mental get challenged every day because obviously they say in football 80% physical. 80% mental, 20% physical. So you think about a male who has to like take all of that to the mental, and imagine me out there as a lone wolf by myself, like trying to deal with this every day. Because obviously, you're not the fastest, you're not the strongest, but you still got to go out there and compete like you the shit anyways. You still got to go out there and tell them that you're going to get down anyways. And I still had to do that. And I always tell people, like, I don't lay down or stay down for nobody. Like, obviously, if I lose a battle, I'm just going to come back on top and get better or figure out what I can fix. But I wasn't about to let nobody pull my card like that. Like, y'all ain't going to play on my face. Okay, you beat me. I'll learn how to get better at it. But that's how you earn your respect out there. And you can't do nothing out there being on the football field soft, especially as no female, because they're going to tell you, keep your skirt on. You don't need to be out here anyways. So.
See, now I can just imagine what you went through because I'm thinking about myself in high school. Like, if it was a girl on 10, we probably would have horsed you for real. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just being real.
Yeah, and I get it because that's how some was. Yeah, but like, I wasn't that one. Like, obviously, if they had somebody a little bit more softer, like I said, I'm a little mud, baby. I'm from Detroit, and I'm in the suburbs, and I'm playing football. I don't know who you think you're talking to. Like, we could go ahead right now. Like, obviously, and I don't want to have to give that off, but that's the only way to earn your respect out there. So I had to do what I had to do. I'm not a naturally aggressive person. Like, even the teammates and stuff I talk to now from high school, like, they all know I'm probably the most sensitive person you probably will ever meet. But out there on that field, like, and I'm not saying that I'm a football player, I'm an athlete. I'm an athlete all around. So like when I'm on that field, I got to do what I got to do. And when I come back, you know who the female version I am, like the woman version of me. So it's always learning how to adapt, but always doing, like, it's like when they tell you got to know what you're doing when you're going into different rooms. Like, oh, we got to be multifaceted with our language, with the, like, you got that certain group of friends you can talk to about everything. You can use Ebonics, and then you got that other group of friends.
Yeah, you got to
separate. You got to be able to separate. You got to be able to be multifaceted in different areas.
Yeah.
And so I've always trained myself to do what I had to do for stuff like that.
Man, that's amazing to see. Just to see you now, right, and just look back at the timeline of accomplishments and every barrier that you broke through. Like, I don't like to focus on negative things at this point right now, but like I think about, some of the people who kind of, who got to stand on what they, did to you back then, and seeing you feel me, do what you did.
Yeah, but it don't bother me.
Yeah.
I can't remember who. It was a rapper. I don't know if it was Kevin Gates or it was somebody, but he was like basically all the people that told him he would never make it. He's nice to them now to show them like what it is now and who they could have, been messing with regardless of what they did to him, because obviously you can't fight like negative with negative. Like two wrongs don't make a right. And that's how I am. Like I don't change or be any different to people that did me wrong. You just know where we stand at, and like it's a laugh in your face to this day, not mine. So we see who came out on top, and that's all the pressure you need for real.
So it's kind of like you kind of showing them like, I'm not gonna be like you. You know what I mean? So yeah. Okay. Yeah. I fuck with that, man.
That's how it gotta be. Because honestly, it's like a lot of people don't understand. Like it's so much harder to be mean than it is to be nice. Like it takes too much energy out. There's like it's so much harder to hate than it is to love. Like I just feel like I don't have like a mean bone in my body to stay mean or mad at people, and so I don't use that energy to be given out to people. Like I'm obviously gonna stay who I am regardless of what people do to me. Now, granted, I am learning to stand 10 toes down and defend myself a little bit more. Yeah. Because, like, you not going to play in my face, but at the end of the day, like, people going to be people. And sometimes you just got to be able to turn the other cheek. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. But, okay, so, high school, senior year, obviously you took the path of going to Toledo to try to walk on, but what was that process like of trying to get to a college? Did you have any offers coming out of high school, or like what was it? It was just no
I
interest?
didn't have any offers coming out of high school, so I trained with my trainer all summer just for the walk-on tryouts. But at the time of the walk-on tryouts, when I went to Toledo, I ended up getting diagnosed with ovarian cancer, stage 1 ovarian cancer. So obviously that dream got shot down the wall real quick.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you're doing well.
I appreciate that. We're going 9 years into remission. So, wait, 2014, 10 years. 10 years, December 19th. This December. So that's crazy. 10 years.
Yeah.
Damn, but 10 years. Yeah. Man. I don't know why I keep feeling like we still in 2023. Like the 2024 just zoomed past us. But it'll be 10 years this year.
10 years. Okay. So, when you have to take that break while you're at Toledo, what was that process like? Did you actually get opportunity to walk onto the team? And then what was those, that break, that gap, what did that look like for you trying to get back to football?
Yeah, that gap was crazy because I didn't get the chance. Obviously, I had to start going through chemo and radiation. And then when you're doing chemo and radiation, your body's not doing good. Like, especially, like, a lot of people don't know I did neoadjuvant. I think that's the correct way how you say it or whatever. But like it's not the chemo that's the hard part on your body. It's the damn radiation. Like it take everything up out of you, and like you don't want to eat. Like there's days where you would be throwing up out of anywhere. And I know this is probably like going into detail a little bit. I'm not gonna go into too much, but like you know how you ever not eat something and you're sick and you got to throw up, but there's nothing there, and so bile starts coming up. That's how it was for me. Okay. And obviously it makes you question like. It's hard for people to fight through that sometimes, but you just got to be strong enough and know like to keep the fight going or whatever. So obviously I didn't get the chance to play at Toledo, but like once I went into remission, I was like, I want a new start. I want a do-over, because if God's going to give me the chance to continue living life, then why not take that opportunity, right? Don't make it a trial, make it a triumph. And so I ended up moving to California to play junior college football. So
you end up at West Los Angeles first,
East,
right?
Don't disrespect us like that.
No, wait, hold on, wait. You went to West first,
No, I went to Golden West College.
Golden West College.
Golden West, because West Los Angeles is our rival. You tried to disrespect us like that? No, you're good.
I always, man, there's so many Cali JUCOs. I always get them confused. But okay, Golden West College.
Yeah, Golden West College.
You end up at Golden West first, right? To try, to establish your career as a college football player. I don't think many people understand what that JUCO grind is like, bro.
It's not,
like,
cause they
especially
don't got
at Cali JUCO.
Yeah, and
like,
cause they ain't got no dorms, no food,
no nothing,
no
like,
family.
And you in California
by myself, at 19 years old.
Man, look,
it's crazy.
I applaud you for real. Cause I'm a JUCO product.
Yeah,
too,
I know. So
that's
they don't understand it. I wish we had some dorms and stuff.
Yeah, man,
it'd be crazy.
Man, that's crazy. But yeah, so what was that like for you there? Like, why didn't it work out for you?
So when I first got there to go to West College, obviously Golden West was considered one of the best Southern California JUCOs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I knew my chances could be slim to none, but that still don't take the like opportunity away or whatever. And I was going through, spring football, summer football, and then obviously the coach told me, he was like, they don't think they have any room or for me on the team. He tried to say like basically I'm not built like a college football player or whatever. Like I'm not a college football player. So he did that. I didn't play that fall. I was still going to Golden West because obviously I was finishing my degree. I ended up playing soccer that fall. Okay. And then I went back. I stayed at Golden West College like the whole time because I ended up getting my degree from there too.
Okay.
So that spring I came back, was in a spring, you have to enroll in spring football or whatever, the class or whatever.
Yeah.
So I enrolled in it again and I wrote it in the summer. And then he said the same thing for the fall. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just leave. I mean, like going into the fall, he said the same thing. So at the time, we were going to go see our neighbor, one of my neighbors who lived next door to me, playing like this high school patriotic bowl or something like that or whatever.
Right.
And the coaches from ELAC, Coach Drum, one of my favorite coaches ever, he was there recruiting my neighbor Jordan. And he was talking to us. He asked if I was our family member. And he was like, wait a minute. He was like, don't I know you from somewhere? And I was like, nah. And he was like, aren't you the girl that went viral for, knocking down the pass, one of the players or whatever? So I said, yeah, we chopped it up a little bit. And he gave me his information to give to Jordan or whatever. But I wasn't thinking about going to ELAC at that time. Yeah. So when the coach had told me about how they wasn't going to let me play or whatever, I hit Coach Drum up and he was like, you can come over here. You can, try to enroll on the class, but you need to talk to the head coach, Coach G or whatever. So I ended up going over there, talking to Coach G and all the coaches or whatever. And I ended up playing at ELAC for my last 2 years of JUCO or whatever. And granted, the experience wasn't. Listen, I've been through some shit. I'm just thinking about it. Like, how many times they gonna kick me off these things? Because when I first went to ELAC, Coach G, obviously, like when we went through all the fall camp, we was just getting out of fall camp and everything. And then he told me, he was like, "We're too afraid for your safety for you to be out there." Man. Listen, let me. I gotta come so I can tell you this.
Yeah, I ain't know that.
Yeah, no, okay. But these are out. The experiences that I went through at ELAC, I would never take for granted. Like all those, I still talk to all those coaches, Coach G, Coach Drum, Coach Cervantes, Coach Tree. Like I still talk to all those coaches because they gave me an opportunity nobody would, regardless of them still trying to take the opportunity away or whatever. Like something in their mind clicked and said, we need to get this girl an opportunity. So what happened was on our last day of, or like the last week of fall camp or whatever, that Monday or whatever, after we got out of practice, Coach G called me into his office or whatever, and all the coaches was in there. I knew something was bad about to happen. I'm like, damn, again? How many times I'm gonna go through this? So he called me to the office and they told me basically that they was concerned for my safety or whatever, and they was scared. So obviously I told you I'm a very emotional person. I'm crying my heart out to the head coach. I'm like, come on, just give me a chance, bro. I done went through all of this. Ain't no way y'all finna like not let me play now. So, he said sorry or whatever. And obviously was still like enrolled in the class with her. He was like, but you can, if you want, you can stay around and like help out or whatever. That I was like, I said, okay. But in my head, I was like, hell no, I'm not about to do this. Just wait and just watch. So every day, even though I wasn't able to go out there and practice, I went to every meeting. I went to every practice. I went to every weight room. I went to all the therapy sessions. I went to everything. Like even with players that was there that was considered our star players, didn't even go. I knew the playbook. Like I knew everything that was supposed to be going on. And they just couldn't deny it. Like it was no reason they could deny it. So one day, I think it had to be like a Thursday practice or whatever. Coach G had called me or whatever because he said they needed some help with something down at the field. But I felt funny because I was like, I don't see none of the players or nothing. Practice wasn't going on. Everybody was getting ready.
Trying to set you up.
Yeah, they were trying to set me up. They did, though. They set me up a little bit. So I got outside and I seen all the players. And I thought they was like having like a meeting to like before they go to stretchers or something. But granted, everybody was supposed to be in weight room. So I don't know why like this moment was different. So I get out there and I hear them like rah, 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 rah. And I'm trying to get to the middle of the circle. And obviously, I hear them talking or whatever, and I hear Coach G saying my name or something. I'm like, what's going on? And as they start, I start coming out. I see the players looking at me or whatever. I start walking up, and Coach G got the jersey 31 or whatever, and like they had welcomed me to the team or whatever because they was like, we couldn't deny you. Like you work so hard. Like you come to the meetings and you don't have to be there. You know all the plays. Like you never late. And I was already like a 4.0 student. Like they just couldn't deny it.
No brainer. Yeah.
Then that opportunity led me to, where I am today. But I'm grateful for that opportunity because I had to fight tooth and nail. Like, I just realized I've been realized I'll be fighting tooth and nail, but I'm like, through football, like, there's no way that this is not, like, my destiny because I just been fighting tooth and nail my whole life. And a lot of, like, obviously some stuff didn't work out, but, like, man, the grind was so real to get me to where I am. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. That's why I can't hang the cleats up yet. Yeah. Like, I'm like, it's something more, flag football is in Olympics now. So
2028,
I just,
right?
Yeah. So I just need to maybe get there. Maybe it's an option right now. If I work hard enough for it, and then probably hang them up then, but we'll see.
Okay. See, man, that's the thing. When I look at your story and I see you, I don't think people really understand. People throw this grind word around all the time, right? But you like you was at Cali JUCO, like that should say enough in itself.
Yeah, and I had to go to 2 of them. I was like, oh,
that's not,
come
bro,
on.
like,
and then a lot of people don't even understand. Like when I first got out there, when I first got to Cali and I got to go to West. I was in the obviously everybody sharing apartments and stuff or whatever. Yeah, I had my own room, but I was in there with the dudes. See? And then listen, let me tell you, See, a lot of people don't know this about me, whatever. But like when I was in the JUCOs or whatever, one day, like obviously they was in that apartment before I got there or whatever. But we was going through spring football and everything, and I think we had got like a notice or something. One of the boys whose name was on the lease, he didn't tell us he got a notice, like an eviction notice to pay the rent, like you got to vacate 3 days or whatever. And I had got a job at Barnes & Nobles and LensCrafters, so I was working 2 jobs or whatever. That morning when I left, everybody was still there. But kick this, when I got back to that apartment, the only thing was in there was my bed in the room. Everything was gone. What? All the furniture, everything. I was in that apartment for like maybe 3 days before they made me leave. Crazy.
That's
so
crazy.
Then I was like in the car with me and my friend Tita, this one of my friends that used to go to West with me. We were sleeping in her car for the 3 days until I had found somewhere else to go. Ain't that something crazy?
Man, listen,
and some of them now, those are people that I try not to associate, like, and they still try to associate, but I just feel like that's the lowest you could go.
Yeah, for sure.
Like nobody told me anything, and then when I seen them at practice, they ain't want to say shit.
They ain't want to say,
Then the head coach, like, he had a talk with me or whatever. He was like, maybe you should think about going home. And he still didn't want to welcome me to the team. So I was like, I've had every chance to go, like every reason to quit, but I made it work. Yeah. That's why I'm like, this man, it's like, it's for me. Like, it gotta be. Because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of dudes go home. You've seen a lot of dudes go home too. They be like, I can't do this.
Niggas fold quick. Like,
so quick. I seen some of the best people that could have been some of the best NFL players go home, homesick, or just not used to living like that or whatever. But that's why you got to have so much respect for JUCO products, because the grind is so real and people don't know like what you're going through. You get them bridge cars. Some days you don't eat. Some days like you can't make it to practice. Some days you don't got no place to lay your head. Like, people just really don't understand that. Like, and that's why anybody that goes to JUCO, regardless if they make it out or not, like, at least you tried. Oh yeah. Like, cause it's hard. It's hard, and everybody can't do it.
Everybody can't do it. As you know, you see a lot of people who go home. Like, especially I know, the Cali JUCOs, y'all be deep in fall camp, like, for sure. Like
170.
Deep, like deep.
And I seen them numbers. Yeah. But listen, this probably wrong. Now, I ain't gonna say it's wrong. I used to be happy seeing them numbers dwindling. Cause I'm like, the more they dwindle, the more opportunity I'm gonna get on that field. So go on home to your mama. It's okay. I still applaud you for coming, but baby, my opportunity is now. I used to love. I was like, oh, we went from 170, now we got 70, now we got 60, now we got 59. I was counting every time I used to be happy. Like, I'm not gonna cap, because I know a lot of them used to be happy too when you see somebody and you move up on that depth chart. Like,
always.
It's every man for themselves, for real. Like, everybody, you still going through it together, but at the end of the day, everybody trying to get out and get them scholarships. Man, listen, so it's every man for themselves.
Everybody trying to get
At that time, it was me, period. It was just me. And I'm like, I got to focus on me. So I had to do what I had to do. Go ahead, go home. I applaud you, but peace out.
Yeah,
peace out.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, maybe you should go home if this ain't the right shit for you. Maybe you do need to go home, take a step back, and look at your life. I will encourage you because everybody can't do it. So
can't do it. That JUCO,
not that I'm not rooting for them, but I'm rooting for me more.
Oh yeah,
rooting for me more.
Yeah, that JUCO grind different, bro.
It definitely is
different, man. I remember plenty of hungry nights. Just nothing shit. Sometimes we used to steal food. I ain't gonna
listen.
Hey,
a lot of people
go to Walmart, get the. You ever been to Walmart? You hit the deli and they give you the meal. I mean, like the little tray,
the macaroni and cheese.
You don't pay for it right away. You bang that. Just, you feel me? Just go. That's
See,
what
I never did that or whatever.
But that's what people be having to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of ways.
Yeah,
you can
it's
finesse.
a lot of shit worse than that. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I always used to keep a job though.
Yeah.
One thing, if I did anything, I was gonna keep a job, even if it was a couple little dollars, because obviously classes and stuff. But
right.
That was crazy. That was a crazy. But a lot of people, to me, I don't know how everybody else's experience was, but I enjoyed my JUCO experience way more than I ever enjoyed being at the university level.
Listen,
because you get to university level, it's politics. That's all it is.
I hated playing four-year ball.
Yeah. It was so much different because it's like when you get to 4-year ball or whatever, like the main goal is for everybody obviously want to play at the pro level or whatever, but it was so much politics you couldn't really enjoy it. Like in JUCO, the main goal is for everybody to get out and get a scholarship. So everybody knew what the grind was. Everybody was working hard. Everybody rooting for each other.
On, man.
And college is like, okay, I got here, now what? Like that's how it was for people, and you still not get your opportunity because the person next to you could be a little bit better, or the person they want to be in a number one spot, and they ain't even working hard, not going to class, not coming to the meetings, and you still letting this man start. It was no discipline. Like I never seen less discipline in my life. Yeah, obviously in JUCO, but I'm just saying, like people take that life for granted. Like it's so many people that could be in your position. So many people I know that will work hard for it, and you sitting here taking the opportunity for granted. That was the part I didn't respect, because I was like, and then when I went to the university level or whatever, I never went to a party. Like I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do that. And then too many people knew my name on on campus, all the way to the president. So anytime I walked into anywhere, I couldn't, like, it wasn't nothing that I could do to, like, I'm always standing out. So my teammates, they went to parties and stuff. I never went. I didn't go out. Like I would go to class, then I would go to practice, then I would go back to my dorm. That was it. That's all I did. So I didn't experience a lot of stuff. That's why I say I did everything but nothing. I didn't go out. I didn't go to parties. I didn't go to clubs. I didn't go to amusement parks. I didn't do nothing. I ain't never even been to Cedar Point. Crazy as it's kept.
I never been either.
Yeah, see I'm not the only one. Nah. I ain't the only one.
I thought I was the only
I never been to a club. Like I still haven't been to a club. Like which I ain't missing nothing. That's what everybody's saying. It's a lot of places. I never been to CJ Barrymore. Like
I ain't never been there either.
What we doing then? That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I want to go no more. For
nah,
real. Like,
I'm going tomorrow, but yeah, I'll go to a birthday party. But
okay, yeah. I want to talk about you just spoke on, your university experience playing ball. After ELAC, you had the opportunity to go to CMU, Central Methodist University. I'm familiar with them. I played against them in baseball before. Yeah. Very small little area, you know what I mean? Like, not too much out there or whatever.
Ain't nothing out there. It's an hour drive to the Walmart, hour drive to the airport. Man, if you go into a smaller one, but if you going to Kansas City, that's 2 hours drive. Like, ain't nothing. No cell service.
Nothing.
I had to only be on Wi-Fi. That was another thing I hated. I was like, I felt like I was in Salem. That's where I felt like I was, because the town was so small. It was like,
man. CMU was,
and then it wasn't a lot of us out there either, other than like the athletes. So,
and that was a small little percentage too. Yeah, so
just the athletes.
Right. I want to ask you a question though. Before you got to CMU and talk about your offers, I want to know: did you have an opportunity to play at HBCU at all? Was there
if I would have gotten if I would have gotten the opportunity for them to offer me to go play at a HBCU, I would have took that before I would have took anything else. Because obviously my whole life I wanted to go to a HBCU, but my sports has always been important too, so I had to put that first. But you know what's crazy? I had the HBCU I had the HBCU experience this October by going to a homecoming or whatever.
What homecoming?
And I'm Kentucky State University.
You went to my school homecoming?
Yeah. I was there. Yeah? Yes.
Oh, shit.
This October, we was there. Yeah. Me, Jazz, all my friends or whatever. And, that's crazy. It's a small world.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't expect you to say that. Yeah,
so we went there or whatever, and it was such an amazing experience. I was like, because obviously I'm finishing my master's still from USC or whatever, but I'm like, I told Jazz, I'm like, dang, I could really switch it to like a HBCU or something just to go back and get the experience, because it was like none other than.
Man,
like if I would have got the opportunity, it would have been crazy. That's where I met my partner at too. So that's like, it was like a double whammy. Right, yeah. It was a double whammy.
So your friend went to, what school did she go to? Jazz?
Jazz went to Western.
She went to Western. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a Bronco.
Okay. So how did y'all get down to Frankfurt? Like, who do y'all know there?
Oh, so her cousin, his name is David Osborne. Okay. He's like major there too. Like he gives out the nursing scholarships. He's like very well known at Kentucky State.
Yeah, it's definitely a connection with Kentucky State and Detroit for sure.
Yeah, for a fact. It's a lot of people from Detroit that go there.
Yeah.
So we went down there on like Thursday. We went to the yard on Friday, and then we went to the tailgate on Saturday. And I never seen anything like it. Like everybody just jamming out. It was so many of us.
Man, I think first experience.
Yes, I think I just love more of it. Like because it was so many of us. I didn't see like one drama, anything.
Oh yeah, nothing.
Like nothing. All the tents. Everybody. You can go to every tent and you will hear a different music, different food. Like it was all love. I was like, you can't get this nowhere else. But like at a HBCU. Right. I was like, I might as well switch my degree but I'm like, I only got 4 classes left. Maybe if I do my doctorate or something, which I doubt it because I don't want to go to school no more. But if I think about it, maybe I'll get it from an HBCU.
For the experience, I would encourage it. I'm a 2-time HBCU alum, and that's like the best. That's the best shit I ever experienced. Like
I never experienced nothing like that other than like your own family reunions and stuff. But like as far as being around like people your age, like it was a great experience to not be around no fights, no nothing. Like everybody was just having a good time. It reminded me of like a different world. Like that's always been very encouraging. Yeah. It was good. It was good. I was like, I gotta come back. And Jazz was like, this might be my last year coming. I said, oh, I don't know why you said that. We'll be back because she went the last 4 years. I was like, baby, we'll be back next year.
You'll get burnt out. Trust me, you'll get burnt out.
I probably get burnt out, but I ain't there right now. She ain't burned out. She just don't want to go by herself, and we ain't going. She ain't going by herself because we gonna be there next year.
She got you now, so you
good. So we gonna be good. We gonna be straight.
That's what's up, though. I wanna. There's a gap that I forgot to mention throughout your journey when you got to CMU. If you're willing to share this, I'll share a similar experience with you. You lost your mother in 2019, correct?
Yep, February. Well, she died May 10th. But so I signed my national letter of intent February 26th of 2019 to CMU or whatever. And the crazy thing is I had came down here that April. You know, I seen my mom. I had paid for my mom and my granny to go see the Tyler Perry farewell tour or whatever. So I had picked my mom up, picked my granny up, and I took them down to Fox Theater. And then I picked them up and took them back or whatever, spent some time with them or whatever. And that was Easter or whatever. And then I went back to Cali. And then like a couple weeks later, I had got like a call. Like my sister, this is why, like one of the reasons because I used to keep my phone on Do Not Disturb all the time or whatever. Yeah. But this particular morning, like I wasn't getting the calls because my phone was on Do Not Disturb. So when I finally woke up that morning, I had seen a whole bunch of calls, and my sister had told me that they was looking for my mom or whatever, but they couldn't find her. They had called like all the jails, all the bars, because she used to bartend or whatever, and they still couldn't find her. So I told her, I'm like, call the hospital. Like anything could have happened, like you never know or whatever. So I think my sister ended up calling the hospital, and I don't know if they had her under Danielle Harris or if they had her under Jane Doe or whatever. But they told her, like, gave my sister a description of who she was, and she went up there and was able to like identify her. But she had ended up getting into a car accident on the Southfield Freeway or whatever. And when they got to the hospital, once my sister and them finally got like the details or whatever. So this is what they told us. Basically, like when they found my mom, the car was flipped, still on the freeway. But when they looked back at the cameras, the accident happened at like 11 something. But the police and the ambulance didn't get to her till like 1 a.m. Oh wow, that's a long time. She was still awake. Wow, which is crazy because think about being in all that pain and you still awake, and nobody's come to save you yet. Man. So when they took her to the hospital, they said that basically she had blunt force trauma to the head, to the chest. Her legs was shattered, some of her brain a little bit, and then her lip was split from like the top of here all the way down or whatever. And so they took her into surgery and tried to do like the surgery for her brain or whatever, but her brain kept swelling. So they had to take her out or whatever, but she was still able to wake up or whatever, the doctor told me, because I had came from Cali. I was in Cali getting ready to do a presentation at ELAC for like a whole bunch of college kids on college day or whatever. Yeah. And as soon as I finished, I was like, I'm like such a commitment person. So I was like, I have a commitment to attend to still. Like, it's nothing I can still do at this moment. So I did that presentation, and then I hopped on a flight like right after like my presentation was or whatever. So I got to my mom at like 1:00 in the morning. And before I got there, they said that she was awake when they took her out of surgery, recovery. And she was able to, they asked her pain level, and she was able to tell them. But when they ended up putting her to sleep or whatever, they had put her on fentanyl. Now, when I got there at 1:00 in the morning, she was, already in a deep sleep or whatever. So it wasn't a lot, that I could do or whatever. And the doctors was coming in and out, in and out, in and out. But I like could tell something was going on, because like her feet would be shaking or her eyes would be rolling, or her hands or something. And they came in and like they kept what's the word? Not inspecting, but like doing like observation and stuff or whatever, checking on her stuff. So they had came in this one particular time, and I had told them like, I keep seeing her jumping, like, and they telling me no, it's because, she's kind of in a coma from like whatever, like in a deep sleep or whatever. And she should want to wake up soon. And then this one time they was checking her, but like everybody kept coming in, like they was sending a different doctor, a higher doctor in each time. Obviously I've been in the hospital long enough to know like what's going on or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So they asked us that morning, my mom was supposed to have a stat CAT scan. Like, stat means at 5 a.m., not at 5:01, not at 4:49, at 5 a.m. But they told us that somebody made a mistake and put in the computer a regular CAT scan, so it didn't get done. And so at 12 o'clock that afternoon, they had asked us to step out so they can bathe her. And my stepdad was still, around the room. I had went down to make a call or whatever. And he ended up telling my sister and coming back to me and told us that basically that my mom was brain dead because she had stroked out earlier that day and they didn't know it or whatever. Because they made the mistake in the computer putting it as a regular CAT scan instead of a stat CAT scan. So that was obviously heavy. It was heavy that she was in a tragic car accident. And then it was heavy because now we got big decisions to make. Those big decisions became, even my stepdad was there as a proxy as her husband. I had to do it because I just think that my stepdad saw me as a little bit more responsible because everybody was spiraling out of control. So he needed somebody like who was a little bit level-headed at the time to help him make the decision. So he left the decision up to me whether I wanted to pull the cord on my mom or not. And I'm not the oldest daughter. Like my sister is older than me. She'll be 36 on December 19th. And so she, obviously she felt like the opportunity was ripped away from her because she's the oldest daughter, but she was spiraling at the time, and my brother who's older than me or whatever. But I just feel like it was the most morale decision because, for one, I know how my mom lived her life, and for two, she wasn't one that was she wasn't even at home half the time. She was always working or always bartending or like always DJing because her name was DJ Miss Lulu. So I knew that wasn't one thing she wanted to do, was to be a vegetable the rest of her life, laying in the bed, like never speak to your kids again, never open your eyes again. Like that's that's a lot. And so I had to make that decision to pull the cord or whatever. And it's something like when I think about my mom, it's something that bothers me every day because of how my siblings and them felt. But I think I had to come to terms with like it was the best decision possible, regardless of how I feel. Like you obviously it's still going to be on your mind because that's a big decision for anybody to make, especially I was only 22 years old. 22 or 23. Yeah. I think I was getting ready to turn 23. And so that next week we ended up burying my mom, and it was all like crazy timing because I had just signed my scholarship, and my mom I had just bought her a ticket too out there to Cali because I was graduating from ELAC or whatever, and she was supposed to come out there, but she didn't make it. Yeah. And my mom has never, like, regardless of me being adopted, my mom has never, ever, 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 ever missed a graduation. Not kindergarten graduation, not 5th grade graduation, not 8th grade, not high school. She's never missed a graduation. So that was obviously hard because if I didn't see her for a whole year, guess what? She was going to be at a graduation.
Facts.
She was going to be at a graduation. And so I ended up being able to call the airport and switch the ticket over into my sister's name, but obviously got to give them proof or whatever. And then my dad, my sister, and a couple of my aunties, 2 of my aunties and one of my cousins came out to my graduation to come and support out in Cali. So it was still a good moment, but it was like my mom wasn't there to see like that accomplishment, especially too because that was my first time ever. My mom had a beautiful voice, and she sung at a lot of venues and stuff too, or whatever. That was my first time singing in front of 5,000 people. I had never done that, and I sung the national anthem for my college graduation.
Yeah,
and I wanted her to see that moment so bad because it's like I take after her because my mom was athletic. She played basketball and she played softball or whatever, and I was just like. I was living through the moment because it was a big accomplishment, but I was also like soaking in the sorrow because it was like everything that was good was happening to me. Everything that was bad that was happening was just like 3 times worse. So like, I think that also played a part into me losing a little bit of motivation too when I went to the university level because it was like, now what else? I mean, obviously I'm gonna work hard, but I don't feel like I can work as hard because some of my motivation, the motivation that I had while I was doing it was gone. Yeah. So it played a major part because I had got like depressed when I was there. Like it was hard. I had to leave to college like in July. And that's like 3 months after a couple months after she passed away. I was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So it was hard, but you live and you learn. And obviously you can't tell people how to heal, like I said, or how to grieve because everybody is different. But I think every day with time, like it becomes bearable. Some days worse than others. Obviously, holidays can be some of those. But I feel like the more I keep going and the more that I do, obviously my mom was really, really proud. And I'm like she's shining down, telling me to keep going. Yeah. And so every time I feel like I lack a little bit of motivation, the motivation of her telling me, she used to always say, you doing the damn thing, baby girl. I think about that in my head, all the time. And I always play her because I have her voicemail on my phone. If I don't have anything else, I got that. Yeah. And I always play it back sometimes. And I'm like, okay, you almost there. You done started breaking the generational curses just a little bit more each time, just take a little bit day by day, one step at a time, and just watch your life flourish. And I know my mom is proud, regardless of everything that happened in my whole life, I know everything had a meaning, me being adopted, me playing football, me being kicked off these teams. I feel like God has a reason for everything. And everything that's happened to me built me and gave me the strength for who the person I was going to be today. So I'm not mad. Like I said, I won't, obviously the experiences could have been better, but I don't take anything for granted. And I'm grateful for my own experiences, just like anybody else probably would, for how they, went through the grind and grew up and where they are today. Yeah. So.
First, my condolences to you.
Yeah, mine's to you. I mean, I tell you this all the time, but
I know.
Yeah, right? It's hard. So the feeling, because a lot of people, I tell people all the time, it's the one club nobody wants to be in. It's a very lonely club, and it's very inexplicable to try to explain to people the pain that you feel. You only know it if you're in the club. Yeah. And this is not the club that you want to attend. So I listen, I commend you for, trying to push through it every day too, because it's hard, especially people don't understand, yes, it hurts probably a lot of people when they lose their dad, but to lose your creator other than God, to lose a person that gave birth to you. That's a soul tie and a connection that you can't get from nobody else, regardless of how many people play the mother role, regardless of how many people that are mother figures in your life. It's nothing like your mom. It's nothing. So
like it, yeah.
Man, it's an experience.
It is. And as we come into this final segment, a lot of what you just said, I can resonate with wholeheartedly. My mother, she passed away a week before I graduated from college.
I remember.
Yeah, and I was just
because we talked about that. My mom had passed away a couple weeks before I graduated. 3 weeks before my graduation.
To this day, I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? You know what I mean? And it's still just a blur. You know what I mean? It's still a blur. And I heard you speak about something about how now, at this point, in this moment, right, how you're just now figuring out how to navigate out of depression. Because I feel the same way. I feel like this year is the first year where I'm able to
navigate a little bit more.
Kind of maneuver. Granted, my life is not bad, right? I don't want for nothing, and I'm blessed in, many different ways, but it's just still it feels a little different because as the years go by, you just sitting in it, right? You sitting in that depression, that hole, that cloud, or whatever you want to call it, and it's like, man, is it ever gonna end? And you start to see some light, but then now it's like it's just more wise. You know what I mean? And it's just a different. I don't know.
Every time I used to come to Detroit, when my mom passed away, because it's been 5 years this year, it used to be so cloudy and so dark, and I'm like, dang, I can't move back. But obviously, I went through some things last year that kind of forced me to move back this February, and like obviously some experiences are better than others, but I think it was like a blessing that I moved back home. You know, you got to start back where it came from, and you just got to move forward from there. Obviously, we can't change or shape the experiences we go through, but like I said, it takes it day by day. And then I always remember, like, regardless of anything, God has a reason for everything. And honestly, if you think about it, like where our moms is up there with God, like they wouldn't choose to come back down here if they could, because this is not heaven. Ain't nothing better than up there than being with the Father. So, you know, they wouldn't choose the option to come back down here. They'd be trying to get us to come up there. So one day, you know, we'll see them again. But until then, you know, we got to just continue making them proud and continue moving forward in life, because obviously grief can hold you back a little bit, and you don't want life to pass you by when you sitting and sulking in it, because that obviously that's not something they will want. So you continue finding that motivation to just, you know, live through life and take nothing for granted, and like find the meaningful things in the little things, for real. Like bask in it, celebrate the little wins, and just take it step by step every day. That's what I do. That's what I try to do. I get bad anxiety sometimes, but now I'm learning to just breathe, and I'm like one step at a time, Toni. Like, you can't be superhuman. You're not a hero. You're not superwoman. So just take it one step at a time. Love who love you, like, and continue just being a good person. You know, that's all we can ask for really in this lifetime.
No, that's facts. You know, you just said something about you just now moving back to Detroit. I think I dealt with that, and I'm gonna touch on this briefly because we're running up on time. But I still experience that. Like, like I don't even live in Michigan right now. Like, you feel me? Every time I come home to do this, like, because it's a lot of my support system is here. You know what I mean? But I was running from it for so long because of my mom's death. Like, every time I would come here,
it was like so cloudy,
it's like like a gut wrench. I'm like, I gotta get the fuck away. Like,
it took me a long time even to go visit her gravesite.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, it took me 2 years.
It took a long time.
2 years to do that. Yeah.
So you know the feeling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad to see you doing better with it. I'm glad to see you doing everything that you're doing right now. It was an honor to talk to you. I'm just
absolutely. I definitely appreciate the conversation. Sometimes, you know, a lot of people don't open up about these things. I'm okay with that because I've had some time to experience it, some time to like sit in how I feel about everything. And, you know, with each age comes new experiences and a better mentality and maturity. So right now, you know, I'm still growing into a woman, and I'm still learning things. Everything's not going to always be perfect, but you know, I mean, I'm taking baby steps. And, you know, and football never stops. I'm still playing. So hopefully you maybe come out to some games in Chicago. You see I got 3 in Chicago, 1 in Memphis. Sure. Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, and Florida. So you're welcome to come in any games. I'll send you a schedule. And listen, hopefully we'll see what comes out of that from there. Because I'm trying to have a crazy season this season. I got to make up for missing a season of having a torn LCL. Yeah. So.
Oh, no, I'm pulling up for sure.
Got to.
Really quick. While we wrap up, what can we expect from Toni going forward in 2025? Will we see another second annual Toni Harris football camp, or
absolutely.
What's to come? Like, just give us a little breakdown of what's coming for you.
Absolutely, we're gonna be planning another camp. I think so. This year I did it for my 28th birthday. I wanted to do it in honor of it and something for me moving back to the city and to give back to my own community. So that was like something really, really special. Like I never did anything like that, and it's the first of its kind. Like no other female football players like do camps like that, and I did like a tackle and a flag camp because some like one more than the other. So I think I'll do it every year around my birthday or whatever, just to like make it a tradition or whatever. And then obviously I'm still working with NFL and I'm still playing ball. But I think I got some great things coming in 2025, not just even like career-wise, like just life-wise, family-wise. And I'm excited about it. Like, I'm excited to see what God's going to do in my life. Then hopefully some other things come out in 2025. But
yeah, for sure.
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be able to sit here with you and talk about my experiences, and hopefully for the next person that's listening to this knows that they are enough, and never allow people to, take away what you love the most, and to just know, like, you can do anything you put your mind to. I always say the sky is not the limit when there are footprints on the moon. So I believe you can go further. But yeah, expect a lot from Toni in 2025. Hopefully I'll touch some M's. We gotta touch them M's first. Yeah, for sure. I gotta get to that money. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap on that. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It was an honor to talk to you. And just to let you know, we're gonna do a part 2.
We got to do a part 2. Break it down a little bit. I don't want
to sound assertive, but
no, you can sound assertive. That's good. Yeah, I enjoyed this. We can do a part 2.
Sure.
Part 2 we gotta get a part 2.
Sure. All right.
Sure.
Toni Harris, thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
That's it.